Hi guys, Al DeMarco here, and this is going to be your Saturday video report. I've got a couple of opinions on an NBA and baseball contest coming up in just a moment, but today this video report is really going to be about boxing. As you know, I've told you in the past, I covered boxing for about 8 years as a reporter, just about every major championship fight and a lot of non-championship fights as well, back in the 80s. And tonight in Vegas, we've got the rematch. Manny Pacquiao, who was absolutely robbed, dominated in the ring, but absolutely robbed by the judge's decision when he met Timothy Bradley in the first go-round. Well, the rematch is tonight. I'm going to give you the in-depth preview of that contest coming up in just a moment. Now, in terms of some of the promotions here at the site, as you know, it's Saturday, right? So what have I done every single Saturday for nearly 2.5 years? I've given you the opportunity to save potentially hundreds of dollars using a money-saving discount coupon code that today will save you 25% off your total purchase price. Now, that's for anything at the site, guys. Any combination of any handicappers, picks, and or packages. The only stipulation is you've got to put everything in your shopping cart at one time. You can't come in and buy handicapper A and then 2 hours later come in and buy handicapper B. Any combination of picks or packages from anybody here at the site, you put them all in your shopping cart at one time, and then you use coupon code 25%, 25 PERCENT, and that will save you 25% off your total purchase price. And if you have ever any questions, guys, remember, you can always contact customer service. That's what they're there for. Each of the past 4 days, I have given you a discount coupon, good for Jeff Benton's action. And each of the past 4 days, Jeff Benton has made you a winner. Today, a fifth straight discounted winner from Jeff Benton. You save $80 on his NL Central total of the year on the Pirates and the Brewers. As he goes for winning number 6 out of 8 and 5 in a row, just as big as last night's winner, Nationals and the Braves over, which you got as the 777 triple play special of the day. Biggest Thursday's winner on the Spurs Mavs over, which you got as the $5 play of the day, et cetera, et cetera. Again, a fifth straight winning discounted day from Jeff Benton, and that coupon code is Benton80. And then I saw a couple of plays here from a couple of handicappers, and I thought it afforded me an interesting opportunity to give you huge savings with an early game, a bankroll builder, and a late game, a bailout special. So the bankroll builder game, guys, goes at 2:10 Eastern Time, the Cleveland Indians against the Chicago White Sox. Brad Wilton, who is the winningest handicapper at these sites in terms of baseball profits over the past 2 years, $10 better, up over $6,200 today. Going for winning day number 11 out of 16 with his 30-dime winner number 7 out of 8. It's your Indians White Sox side. You save $65 by using coupon code Wilton65. Wilton65. And by the way, in all sports combined since last July, $10 bettors up nearly 13 grand. Then your Saturday night bailout special, Craig Davis. Remember the weekend he had, the last weekend? 100-dime winner, UConn over Florida on Saturday, and then 100-dime winner on UConn in the title game over Kentucky on Monday night. Well, today he's going for winning day number 6 out of 8 with his biggest NBA play of the year, Suns Mavericks at 8:35 Eastern. You can save $70, which means you get to play for just $29. The game goes at 8:35 Eastern Time. That's why I called it the Saturday night bailout special. $10 bettors have won $2,200 since last Saturday following Craig. They've won $6,300 over the past 7.5 weeks. Coupon code Davis70. Davis70. All the coupons, including $5 play of the day from Anthony Red, everything for you is over on the homepage, so check it out. Let's get now to a couple of suggestions here in terms of free picks. I got to be honest with you guys. Today, the baseball card is the hardest card so far this season, and I've been doing well. Not with the free picks, but that's okay because my bank account needed me to start winning with the real plays, and I've won 4 of the last 5 days. But this is a really difficult card here today. My suggestion, the only game that even stood out for me, other than my best bet, happened to be taking the Dodgers and the Diamondbacks under the total of 8.5 with Zach Greinke and Wade Miley on the hill. And then I looked at the NBA, and the only thing that even maybe suggested a free play, the Denver Nuggets at home. Of course, they beat the Rockets in revenge at home a couple of days ago, and then they pulled off that last-second upset of Golden State as a 12-point dog. So the Nuggets haven't quit, even though they're playing without Wilson Chandler and Ty Lawson here of late. So I like the Nuggets, even though they're a 9.5-point favorite over the Utah Jazz, who, remember, Utah on the road just last Sunday night at Golden State. The same Warriors team that Denver just upset. Warriors beat them by 28 points as a 12-point home chalk. So what the hell? Lay the 9.5 with the Nuggets. So those would be the two plays that I would recommend there, one from each sport. Again, the Diamondbacks and the Dodgers under, along with the Denver Nuggets in the NBA. Now, let's talk about the fight here tonight. And remember, you can get the latest odds on the fight simply by checking out the boxing drop-down menu here at the site. Pacquiao is anywhere from a 210 to a 235 favorite. And that's to be expected because, listen, the fight is at the MGM Grand. Vegas is his second home. He is going to have all the fan support, not only from those in Vegas, but because he draws so many fans from Mexico, from Arizona, from California. They just flood into the city when he fights. He's just the favorite son. That's the bottom line. Here's the thing with Manny Pacquiao. He's been fighting since he's 16 years old. He's 35 years old now. You know, the great thing or the most interesting thing about boxing is the storylines. I told you what happened in the first fight, and you're aware of it too. Now, the storyline leading up into tonight's rematch is that Pacquiao has been too charitable in the ring. He's been too much of a nice guy. He hasn't been putting away fighters, and that is the reason why he hasn't knocked out anybody since 2009, and that he's extremely motivated for this rematch because Timothy Bradley came out and said that he was going to end his career tonight. I'm telling you, if you're a writer, it's great drama. I mean, it's great drama. What, you think the WWE owns the recipe for drama? Boxing's been doing it for hundreds and hundreds of years, seemingly, okay? So that's the drama. That's the storyline. That's how you frame this fight here tonight. But the reality is this. Manny Pacquiao doesn't have the punching power he once did. Age has robbed him of some of his power. Plus, when you see a lot of these fighters that start, and look, Manny Pacquiao, he has gone through like 8 different divisions since the time 8 different weight classifications from when he made his debut at 16 years old to 35 years old. Very rarely does a fighter, even the greatest of fighters, do they carry that punching power through their weight divisions. And as those weight divisions go up, as their age goes up, the punching power goes down. He hasn't knocked down anybody since 2009. You look at his last 2 fights. He took on Brandon Rios, an overmatched guy, a talented fighter, but a guy that Pacquiao should have dispatched, and he did. It was technically a good fight. I mean, he threw more punches, and he got the decision, and that was the bottom line. He dominated statistically there and got a split decision. The fight before that one, that was, of course, the Juan Marquez fight, who knocked him out back in December of 2012. Bradley comes into this fight 31-0, 13 knockouts, but he's only had 1 knockout in his last 13 bouts. This guy is not a puncher. And really, he's not much of a combination thrower either. He really relies on his right hand. Now, Bradley won the WBO welterweight title back in March of 2013. Then he took a split decision, ironically, in his last fight against the same guy, Marquez, who knocked out Pacquiao. Now, when these two first met, and I told you it was a horrible decision, it was reviewed by everybody. Everybody clearly knew that the fight was wrong, and Pacquiao got robbed. Lots of guys will say, with Pacquiao being such a heavy favorite in the rematch here tonight, that the smart money play is to go ahead and take the dog, take Bradley as the underdog. But that's the wrong philosophy when you're betting boxing. I'm telling you, that is just the wrong way to look at it. If there is one sport that I would advise you to lay the heavy chalk, it's boxing. And if you got to lay 2-1 or 2.3-1 tonight, you got to do it because you can win money in boxing when you pick and choose taking heavy favorites. Don't fall into that, what I always say about some of my baseball handicappers in this business who say, oh, I take dogs all the time. Yeah, they take dogs for the sake of taking dogs, and inevitably they take 3 dogs a night and they only win 1 of them. It's a losing night. You don't take a dog just because of it's a dog. That's the bottom line. But I will point this out to you. Scoring is so subjective when it comes to boxing. Listen, of all the fights that I covered, the most interesting, the most controversial one, the most highly publicized one was Hagler and Sugar Ray Leonard. And in those days, we're talking, in the 80s, there was no internet, okay? And in those days, I would go to the fight, I'd be on the phone, I'd be calling the play-by-play. The guy at the other end is literally typing. Now, I type 140 words a minute. This guy was typing faster than me. I'm giving dictation, round by round blow. He's sending it out, and all the TV and radio stations and newspapers that were subscribing to the service were getting all the recaps. End of the fight comes out. I'm a guy who, as I've watched boxing over the years, judges judge fights one of two ways. They go by style points, they go by power points. I've always been not too cognizant of the power punches. I instead go for the guy who's active, who is landing the punches, don't have to be the harder punches. I go for the style points. In that fight, Hagler and Leonard. Hagler threw the harder punches, hit Leonard with the harder punches. But I thought Leonard was the more active, and I thought he stole so many of the rounds, and that's why fight ended. Came time, I knew it was on the line. I called Leonard as the winner. We sent it out, and I'm telling you, within 30 seconds, the guy on the other end says, ESPN is on the phone. They want to know, this is what they said. Do you really think Leonard won? What, do you think I was an effing moron? I just called the damn fight. Yeah, of course I thought Leonard won. It's a 50-50 proposition. Well, you know the history there. Leonard wins the fight. Hagler sulks away, and I was on the right side, and I guess ESPN was happy. Some of the other national wire services, they were on the wrong side of that fight. But again, boxing is so subjective. And that leads me into my final analysis of this fight tonight. What have I told you 2 times here already? And what you already know, Pacquiao was robbed. Will the same judges be on at ringside tonight? No. But you don't think, as human beings, they don't carry into the fight the thought that, man, this guy was robbed the last time? You don't think basic human nature is that they're going to bend over backwards to give him the benefit of the doubt when it comes to scoring? When you have a guy like Pacquiao, who has the advantage with the speed, foot speed in this one, has the advantage with speed until he may not throw the punches as hard as he once did, and he may not be able to go for solid 3 rounds. Don't believe what Freddie Roach says that, Pacquiao's going to fight a solid 3 minutes every single round. That is just not going to happen. But he's wise enough to know how to steal the rounds. The great fighters, the Leonards, the Haglers, the Muhammad Alis, they knew how to steal rounds by putting out their best effort in the final 45 seconds because what have you done for me lately? When you're a judge, listen, as a reporter covering fights, the first minute, by the time the second minute has elapsed, you forgot about the first minute. And suddenly you're looking at the third minute of the round, those last 45 seconds to a minute, that's all that matters. And that's what sticks into a judge's mind so often. That's why the great fighters are able to steal the round by really only fighting effectively for 45 seconds. Because he has the advantage of speed, because he's going to throw more power, throw more punches. I think that if you're going by style points, which I think tonight's fight will be judged by, and you're going against an opponent in Timothy Bradley who is not a combination fighter and doesn't have power, I think you got to go with Pacquiao in this fight. Listen, the other thing that concerns me about Timothy Bradley is this is a guy who has been quite open about talking about all the suicidal thoughts he had after being awarded that decision the first go round because of all the hate mail he got, all the public criticism he got in the media and from just the private sector. That makes me wonder. You're getting suicidal thoughts, and I don't mean to make light of this, guys, but boxers generally, they think they are gods. I mean, when you have that type of self-doubt, I don't know if boxing is the business necessarily you want to be in. So when I add it all up, Pacquiao's fighting on his home turf. I think the judges are definitely going to be in his corner. Although, listen, Teddy Atlas, you know who Teddy Atlas is. I think he always has a great line. With judges, you never know when they're competent or they're corrupt. You never know. I would probably go ahead and lay the juice and go ahead and take Pacquiao in here. Is this the Pacquiao you've grown to love back in 2007, 2008, 2009? No, he's not the same fighter. But I think he can take this one tonight. So, the long-winded story, that's the bottom line. I like Pacquiao tonight. When I go bet my house on it at minus 210 or minus 220, hey, but if you have a little change in your pocket and you've been winning in other sports, you might want to do it. I just think that Bradley is not going to be able to knock Pacquiao out. Pacquiao, therefore, is going to be aggressive and charged because he's not fearful of being knocked out because of Bradley's lack of power. I mean, sure, you can always get caught by a left hook. You can always get caught by a right cross flush to the forehead. You never know what's going to happen. It's boxing after all. And there's no guarantees in gambling. But I think that there's enough pluses on the Pacquiao side of the ledger to go with him this evening. So that'll do it, guys. Best of luck to you all, and I will catch you again on Sunday.